Hey guys, it's Jane. I'm here to do a review today for Read Kids Lit Month, and for any month I'm doing a review of the Ashtown Burial series by N.D. Wilson, and these are, I just finished reading the third one yesterday, and these are some of the most powerful books I've read in I can't tell you how long. This is definitely so far my favourite read for the year. So that is, what can I say? That's a big call, but that is where I'm what I'm feeling right now. So let me tell you about these fantastic books. The story opens with three kids just barely eking out a living in a rundown motel somewhere in the sticks in the USA. Their dad is dead and their mum is in a coma. They haven't been split up because there's two younger kids. Cyrus is 12 and Antigone is 13 when the story opens. But there's also an older brother who is just 18. And because Dan is 18, the three of them have stayed together, but it's really only just barely working out. They are only just managing to put food on the table. And then one night, a mysterious man drives up and demands a particular room. When Dan gets home, gives him the room. Cyrus goes to the room. The guy has destroyed the room, has pulled the plaster off the walls, revealing that a whole bunch of stuff hidden behind the walls. And that is a kind of a metaphor for the whole series of books, because it's a sort of a kind of fantasy secret history, in the same way that in Harry Potter you have this secret world of magic and whatever that people kind of don't know about, that's actually there but is just behind vision. The same sort of thing here. So the guy that has arrived, his name is Billy Bones. He's an old acquaintance of the kids' parents. It turns out that the kid's dad was a member of this secret order that Billy Bones also at one time was a member of, but is now a kind of renegade, sort of on the run from the order. Billy Bones he was actually the kid's godfather, it turns out, and he is there. He realizes that his time is about up and he wants to hand over his worldly goods and a few other very special things as well to the kids before he runs out. And so he makes them, there's a strange ceremony that the kids don't really understand, and they're made the heir. But then almost immediately after that happens, bad guys appear. There's a huge, amazing, bizarro firefight with weird guns and weapons going off, and Billy Bones is killed. And Dan, the older brother, is kidnapped. And so suddenly the Cyrus and Antigone are thrust into this whole new, strange, dangerous world that they have never even suspected existed before. But I'm not going to tell you any more about the story. It builds and builds and builds. The books do stand by themselves. By the same token, there is a huge build towards the third book, and the third book, which is the one that I just finished yesterday, is just. I was reading the climax. I was sitting reading the climax, and there was about 6 other things I was supposed to be doing, but I just couldn't stop reading the climax, and I literally had tears running down my face, not because it was sad, but because it was just so powerful. These books are incredibly well written. It's not medievalish at all. It's all very contemporary. But having said that, it actually has a vibe that's kind of like Lord of the Rings, where you have dark, evil powers that are actually emotionally very believable, and you get so drawn in with the fight against these. There's seemingly no way at points for the good characters to win through, but they continue struggling on. They continue to fight, and that's one of the things about these books that was so kind of compelling. There's actually quite a lot of biblical allusions in the story. It didn't feel particularly heavy-handed. Passages of it just like they were so drenched in biblical allusions, and that really added to the richness of the story. It's not a straight out allegory like The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I really don't think it is. There's one particular character who sort of becomes a quasi father figure to Cyrus and Antigone. His name is Rupert. He is the avenger, the blood avenger of the order, and it's his job when things go wrong to sort it out, basically. And so he's kind of a mix between the Terminator and Indiana Jones and Dumbledore, the avenger. Makes speeches at certain points that are just so stirring. They're like Churchillian, goosebumpy. So yeah, look, they're middle grade fiction. But they are so much more than that. They are really, really fantastic books. Even though they are children's fiction, it didn't in any way talk down to its audience. It was like we're going for this. We are fighting evil. We are, it didn't feel. It wasn't Hollywoodish. It wasn't cheesy. It was just like really, really powerful. Anyway, I have rambled enough, I think. If you haven't figured out that I love this book, so you haven't been paying attention. The Ashtown Burials by N.D. Wilson. It's The Dragon's Tooth, The Drowned Vault, and The Empire of Bones is the third one. Well, I'll see if I can cut this down to a reasonable length, and I will talk to you later. Bye.